Yo, what's up gamers? So I only came to the break room because the PlayStation dashboard updated itself mid-mop. And that's never subtle. No big presentation, no dramatic countdown, just PS Plus quietly refreshing like it pays rent here. And this month, it's not small. We're talking Spider-Man 2 landing an extra, a day one co-op game hitting essential, Monster Hunter timing that feels extremely strategic, and premium digging into arcade nostalgia like it found an old memory card behind the couch. This wasn't just the usual mid-month blog post shuffle, this feels deliberate. So before the break room turns into a wait, that's included argument, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and tell me in the comments down below, are you extra, premium, or still surviving on essential? Alright, grab a mop, let's break down everything PlayStation Plus just added, and why this month actually matters. Big Walk is heading to PlayStation Plus Essential as a day one release. No release date yet, but it's on the list. This is the next game from House, the team that made Untitled Goose Game. So yes, chaos is expected. But instead of being a menace goose, you and up to 12 friends explore a huge open world wilderness inspired by real Australian landscapes. Beaches, forests, cliffs, sunsets, very peaceful. Until someone forgets how to communicate. Because proximity voice chat is the entire gimmick. If your friends walk too far, their voice fades. Go into a cave, it echoes. Hide behind glass, you're basically mind locked. So now you're solving physics-based puzzles, stacking bodies to climb things, playing weird mini-games, all while yelling, "Wait, come back," as your teammate wanders into the ocean. It's less about winning, and more about surviving group chat in physical form. Co-op puzzles, communication chaos, sunset vibes. The number one general rule is never separate from your crew in an unfamiliar building. Big Walk is basically that, but with better lighting. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 swings into PS Plus Extra on February 17th. This is Insomniac's flagship PS5 blockbuster. You're playing as both Peter Parker and Miles Morales, swapping between them as New York faces a full-blown symbiote crisis. Yes, that symbiote. The black suit, the attitude shift, the emotional spiral. Traversal is faster than ever with web wings, letting you glide across an expanded New York City, and combat is cinematic, aggressive, and polished to a mirror shine. Dual abilities, gadget combos, big set-piece boss fights. This isn't a small addition, this is one of the PS5's defining exclusives landing in the subscription library. Open world spectacle, high budget storytelling, spider chaos at 60 frames per second. If you somehow skip this at launch, February just handed you a second chance. Also landing February 17th, Echoes of the End Enhanced Edition. This is your story-first fantasy pick of the lineup. A third-person narrative adventure built around magic-based combat, character drama, and cinematic world building. You're not just hacking through enemies, you're unraveling a personal journey inside a collapsing mystical world where powers come with consequences. Combat leans into elemental abilities and spell-driven encounters rather than brute force. Exploration is deliberate, cutscenes carry weight. The Enhanced Edition label means upgraded visuals, smoother performance, and PS5 level presentation polish. Sharper lighting, faster loads, cleaner animation. This isn't the loudest game in the drop, it's the emotional one. If you like fantasy stories that feel handcrafted instead of chaotic, Echoes of the End is your slow burn February play. Also joining the lineup February 17th, Monster Hunter Story. This is the turn-based JRPG spin-off of the Monster Hunter universe, meaning instead of carving monsters up immediately, you hatch them, raise them, and take them into battle like slightly more dangerous pets. Combat is strategic and rock paper scissors inspired. Power beats technical, technical beats speed, speed beats power. So yeah, you actually have to think before swinging. Wild concept. It's story-focused, character-driven, and much more approachable than the mainline Monster Hunter games. It's less about learning 40 weapon mechanics and more about bonding with your monstie and planning your next move. If traditional Monster Hunter feels like trying to deep clean a warehouse solo, this is the organized supply closet version. Calmer, tactical, surprisingly heartfelt, and honestly a perfect entry point into the story's sub-series before things get more complicated. Right alongside it on February 17th, Monster Hunter Stories 2: Wings of Ruin. This is the bigger, more refined sequel. The world is bigger, the systems are deeper, the combat adds more layers of strategy beyond simple type matchups. You're still hatching and bonding with monsties, but the bond system matters more now. Powering up abilities, triggering flashy team attacks, and shaping how your squad grows over time. Turn-based encounters feel tighter and more tactical, especially in tougher fights where reading patterns actually matters. If the first stories felt like organizing the supply closet, this one is reorganizing the entire building with color-coded labels. And let's be honest, dropping both Stories games right before Monster Hunter Stories 3 releases? That's not accidental, that's recruitment season. If you've ever been curious about Monster Hunter but didn't want to memorize a 40-page weapon manual, this is your clean entry point. Also landing February 17th, Neva. This comes from the creators of Grice, so you already know the vibes. Artistic, emotional, and visually stunning. You play as a young woman traveling through a fading world alongside a wolf companion, and that relationship is the heart of the entire experience. It's bonding, protecting, and growing together as the world changes around you. There's light combat, exploration, and environmental storytelling, but the real weight comes from the emotional beats and that hand-painted art style that looks like someone framed every screenshot. It's calm, reflective, and intentionally paced. This is the kind of game you play when you're not trying to win, you're trying to feel something. Low noise, high emotion, that sometimes the janitor shift is quiet and that's when it hits the hardest. Also sliding into the lineup, Rugby 25. This is a full-on sports simulation built for the diehards. Official teams, real leagues, authentic stadiums. It's not arcade chaos, it's structured, tactical, physics-driven rugby. Positioning matters, timing matters, field awareness matters. You're reading defenses, managing staminas, setting up plays, and committing to hits that actually feel heavy. Online competition is a big focus too, so if you've got a competition streak, this is where you test it. It's definitely more niche compared to the blockbuster hits this month, but rugby fans are loyal and they show up. Not every sport gets a spotlight, but when it does, you better be ready to tackle it, preferably without slipping on a freshly mopped floor. And then there's Season, A Letter to the Future. This one slows everything down. You play as a young woman leaving her quiet village to document the world before a mysterious cataclysm changes it forever. No combat, no boss fights, just a bicycle, a journal, and the road ahead. The gameplay revolves around exploration and observation. You record sounds, take photographs, interview strangers, and write reflections in your notebook, building a time capsule of the world that might not survive. It's calm, intentional, thoughtful. This is a game about listening instead of fighting, about noticing instead of conquering. The pace is gentle, almost meditative, like finishing your shift, turning off the lights, and just sitting in the quiet for a minute. Not every game needs explosion. Sometimes documenting the mess is more powerful than cleaning it. And if you ever prefer your exploration with engines instead of bicycles, Test Drive's Unlimited Solar Crown is pulling up on February 17th. This is an open-world racing experience built around a massive, one-for-one scale recreation of Hong Kong Island. Not just tracks, the whole island. Highways, city streets, mountain roads, hidden corners. It's MMO-style racing, online social competition, clubs, rival factions, reputation. This isn't just about winning races, it's about lifestyle. Luxury cars, custom builds, status flexing, and cruising just because you can. You're exploring, you're competing, you're showing off. It's less arcade chaos and more drive up slow, let them hear the engine. Basically, it's a kind of racing game where the parking lot is just as important as the finish line. Luxury horsepower, open roads, and zero speed limits in the break room. Now it's time for the extra tier. Venba's landing February 17th, and this one hits a little different. This is a short narrative cooking game where the story unfolds through recipes. You play as an Indian mother rebuilding her family's traditional dishes after immigrating to a new country, piecing together ingredients the same way she pieces together identity and memory. Cooking isn't just gameplay, it's puzzle solving. You reconstruct damaged recipes, experiment with ingredients, learn through trial and error, and underneath that, it's about cultural heritage, generational gaps, and holding on to who you are when everything around you changes. Sliding into premium on February 17th, Disney Pixar, WALL-E. This is a classic movie time platformer built around Pixar's quiet little trash compacting hero. You roll, jump, and laser your way through levels inspired directly by the film, from the lonely junk-stacked Earth to the glossy chaos of Axiom. Gameplay leans light, platforming with simple environmental puzzles. Move objects, activate switches, avoid hazards, clean up messes. Very on brand. It's got that PS2 era structure, straightforward levels, collectible hunts, and cinematic cutscenes woven between stages. Nothing overly complicated, just a faithful adaptation preserved for modern systems. This was a nostalgia pull. Comfort food gaming, and honestly, sometimes it's nice to boot up something that doesn't demand a skill tree and a 40-hour commitment. Premium tier is keeping the retro vibes alive. Coming in March 2026 for Premium, Tekken Dark Resurrection. This is the expanded PSP version of Tekken 5, which means extra fighters, additional modes, and tighter balance pulled straight from the arcade scene. Classic 3D arena fighting, sidesteps, launch combos, wall pressure, no button mashing mercy. You've got a stacked legacy roster, all built around that technical, timing-heavy Tekken combat that rewards practice and punishes sloppy play. This isn't cinematic spectacle first, it's fundamentals first, and for a lot of players, this was the portable Tekken era. Long bus rides, local wireless battles, friendships tested quietly, Premium bringing back a competitive cornerstone. Polished, preserved, and ready for another round. Landing in May 2026 for Premium, Time Crisis. This is pure arcade rail shooter energy, the kind of game that used to eat your quarters while you panic reload behind plastic cover. On rail shooting, you pop out, fire, duck back to reload, repeat, and now you do it faster. The big hook here, motion control support. So instead of a light gun cabinet, you're aiming from your couch, chasing high scores like it's 1997 all over again. Enemies rush the screen, bosses soak bullets, the timer's always ticking. It's not about exploration, it's not about story depth, it's about reflexes, accuracy, and surviving long enough to see the next stage. Short bursts, arcade pacing, score chasing chaos. Premium added a straight shot of nostalgia and still doesn't believe in safety briefings. So yeah, that quiet dashboard refresh, it wasn't subtle at all. Spider-Man 2 swinging into extra, a day 1 co-op drop for essential, Monster Hunter timing that feels suspiciously well planned, Premium pulling arcade classics out like it found them in a storage closet from 2008. No big presentation, no fireworks, just PlayStation Plus casually stacking the month while everyone was distracted. Well, that's all I have. I gotta bounce. The dashboard just refreshed again and now everyone's pretending they always meant to download that. But before I go, do me a favor, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and tell me in the comments, did this month actually earn your subscription or are you still debating your tier? This is ScruffyDJanitor signing off. Peace out.